This weekend, Territorians will head to the polls to vote in local government elections. In Darwin, 4 people are vying for the position of mayor. Homelessness and the need for affordable housing have been high on the agenda. They call him the Rubbish Warrior. Trevor Jenkins describes himself as a high-profile homeless bum. He's been dancing the Darwin streets, campaigning to be elected the city's Lord Mayor.
A successful human being isn't just rich and educated and has a family. There's a lot of people who contribute, who are suffering and are hurting and have had a lot of bad things happen, and they're just as much a part of the community as everybody else.
Darwin's had a tradition of having things a bit quirky. I mean, I know 4 years ago a lot of people probably thought that I was a guy who chased cane toads and didn't understand that behind that there was something different. It's one of those things, I guess, that's great about Darwin, and anybody's got a chance to put their hand up and have a go. You know, the warning underneath that really is that this job's quite important. I mean, you're in fact the chairman of the board of an organisation that's managing, $94 million of expenditure a year on behalf of ratepayers.
You can advocate, as a local government, you can actually advocate for good development opportunities and good community infrastructure to be developed. So how you going?
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
This weekend, the people of Darwin will elect a Lord Mayor. Along with the incumbent Graham Sawyer, 3 others are also vying for the top job: Katrina Fong Lim, Trevor Jenkins and Damien McCartney.
There are nominally 4 people in the running for Lord Mayor, but the serious candidates, I guess, that have got a real chance of election are the current Lord Mayor, Graham Sawyer and Katrina Fong Lim.
Darwin is one of the fastest growing cities in northern Australia, with a population of about 130,000 people. Its proximity to rich gas resources and to Asia is making it an attractive place to do business. But this big boom has a downside.
The pressure on the development side and the resultant pressure that brings on affordability issues, housing and just general livability conditions in Darwin have a real possibility of destroying what we see as the big attributes of Darwin as a lifestyle.
The city needs to be revitalised to actually get people to come back into the city and shop and play.
By national standards, Darwin is an expensive place to live, with high rents and property prices. There's a huge demand for more housing. Graham Sawyer believes part of the answer is higher density living.
Look, urban infill is one of the definite answers, but it needs to be done in the right way. If you do it in the right way, you protect 90% of your suburban space and leave it as it is, and then you get some really good outcomes in terms of public transport and better facilities and better amenity, but you also bring back the community sense in spaces by creating a few more people in some of those areas, so you get your nice little corner coffee shops and lots of other things that just add to the whole lifestyle function of Darwin.
Council has a role in gathering the issues and actually advocating and making sure that those issues do come forward within the planning arena.
Darwin has the highest rate of homelessness in the country. The city has a homeless rate almost 40 times that of Sydney, and the lack of accommodation has been a focus of the mayoral race.
Have a forum calling all the Aboriginal groups together to have a managed campsite space here and looking at behaviour and issues there culturally and work towards something so that people have a place to go.
We need to talk to stakeholders and to service providers and to the various levels of government and to also the people who are in this dreadful situation.
Katrina Fong Lim is the daughter of former Lord Mayor Alec Fong Lim, a connection she says will put her in good standing among voters.
I am very proud of the work that my father did as Lord Mayor, and he was an amazing role model for all of us girls. And I say to people, if I could be half the Lord Mayor that he was, then Darwin will be well served.
5-10.
Throughout his 4 years as Mayor, Graham Sawyer has often made headlines.
Had the odd scrape over the last term, some minor charges over replica firearms that became a controversy, frankly, I think rather unfairly.
It's a very frustrating and very difficult thing to deal with, and when it involves your family, becomes even harder. So I just have to wear that, and it's a bit like the stuff I used to talk to with kids in school grounds when you were a teacher about bullying and about the sort of sticks and stones stuff.
Vote 1 for the homeless bump. Vote 1.
Trevor Jenkins has lived on the streets for years. He's best known for his rubbish sculptures scattered around Darwin. The rubbish warrior claims he is not as crazy as people think.
I gave up all my possessions years ago to be on the street, to live with people and live a bit like a sadhu or just a homeless person, to experience that and be there. And it helps me artistically and thinking and philosophically.
This year has also seen changes to the council voting system.
They've changed over to a proportional representation system, which effectively what it means is that it will be easier for newcomers to get in, and there'll be much less ability effectively of the existing incumbents to swap preferences and keep people out. So I think that is going to be a refreshing change, not only for Darwin but for other councils as well.
Hey gang, you voting on the weekend?
As the mayoral candidates pound the pavements of Darwin, it will soon be in the hands of voters.
I think it's almost certainly going to be a contest just between Graham Sawyer and Katrina Fong Lim, and I wouldn't like to have money on either of them, frankly. I think it's probably going to be quite a close contest.
Listen to the people, lift it up.
And to follow the mayoral race as the votes are counted, tune in to ABC Local Radio with Vicky Kerrigan from 8:30 Saturday night.